Thanks for visiting Mr. Shoe Guy here on YouTube. Hey, it's Robert, Mr. Shoe Guy, and what I wanted to do today was give you a good, meaty video with 8 tips for dominating, not just going to, dominating yard and garage sales. So, with that said, let's jump into this video. So, when you're going out there to your garage sales, number one thing you gotta really keep in mind is there is a lot of competition generally. If you're in an area that has a good amount of yard sales and you're in a, there are nicer neighborhoods and there's some good stuff, you have to keep in mind at all times, you're not the only one. You have to be there first. You have to be there aggressive. You have to be out there making deals. You can go as a spectator and that's a lot of fun, but if you're going to make money, you need to go there with the intent of making money and treat it like a business. So for dominating yard sales, there's a couple tips, several tips. Number one, know your niche. That means the styles, the brands, what's generally a good condition, what the going rate is. You need to learn and know what your niche is. So you can't really go out there and just try and buy everything. You can, but you're kind of a jack of all trades and a master of none. What has worked for me is kind of knowing my stuff. When it comes to men's footwear and shoes, I know that niche pretty well. I know the styles of shoes that sell well. I know the brands. And if you go through this channel and just check out some of the videos, there's lots of good tips out there for the styles, the brands, the conditions that you're looking for. Also in my book, there's plenty of details about that as well. So when it comes to yard sales, you really want to kind of know what you're looking for. Know your niche. Number two, this is a more general tip, but it really comes down to planning. When you're dealing with yard sales, one of the things to keep in mind is there's so many yard sales in any given city, but especially some of the cities with the nicer weather. We're talking like the southeast, some of the east coast cities, and the southwest, central parts of the U.S. Here, focus on the states. They're really any given Saturday there's probably hundreds of yard sales, if not, possibly thousands. So wherever you are, you need to know that there's a lot of yard sales going on, and so for that reason you really need to make a list of your qualified leads, kind of like you're in business. So you want to know where they are going to have the stuff that you're interested in. There's actually 2 sites I recommend. There's plenty more out there, but there's 2 sites I recommend. gsailor.com, GSALR.com, and also Craigslist.com. Because these 2 sites you can actually search for specific keywords: shoes, footwear, boots, sandals, running shoes, hiking boots. Like, you can search for these things, and if they pop up in the yard sale description, that's a qualified lead. Then you want to kind of get a sense of where this place is that you're going. So you don't want to be driving around a million different places and your house is here and you're going out here 40 minutes and 20 minutes here. You want to kind of, be efficient with your time. So the whole point about tip 2 is planning. Make a list of where you want to go, get directions, know that your lead is at least somewhat qualified, and then go in an efficient manner. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is huge. That's why these words are so big. If you're just doing this casually, you may not understand the importance. But for somebody who is treating this as a strong part-time business, or somebody who's looking to do this kind of full-time, you'll understand the importance of being there first. What I mean by being there first is, if you get up on a Saturday morning at 8 o'clock and you call yourself being early because normally you sleep until 11 a.m. and you call yourself getting to a yard sale at 8:45 or something like that, you've missed all the good stuff. That's almost guaranteed. Unless you've got a family or 2 who just, they're starting late. Generally speaking though, there's a lot of action that happens at yard sales as soon as people wake up. and as soon as somebody gets to the door first. So it is vitally important for you to get up early. An example for me personally, when I get up and I'm in yard sale mode and yard sale season, I'm up at 5 or 5:30 and I'm out of the house before 6. I'm at my first yard sale sometime between 6:30 and 7, just depending on when I'm making my list, what yard sales start at 7 or start at 8. But generally speaking, I try and be there, the first person there. And I tell you, it honestly, it makes all the difference in the world. It's the difference between getting to somebody's house and there being 25 pairs of brand new unopened Allen Edmonds shoes or 5 pairs of mint condition Loke boots that are all worth $400 a piece, and them not knowing what the value is and them giving you the whole lot for $80, and you have a profit margin of several $100s, versus you getting there at 9:30 and there being none of that there, and it's just a bunch of poor condition, used tennis shoes, and it's a waste of your time. So your time is extremely valuable. That's why you want to be there first, because you don't have time to waste. That's why. Number 4, understand that the best stuff is not advertised often. So what do we need to do to combat that? Ask. So when you're at a yard sale, remember that sometimes their best stuff isn't even advertised, not because they're trying to keep something from you, but because we have to keep in mind that these are everyday people who have a lot of stuff going on, and they're not looking at this as a long-term business like we are. They're looking at this as a short-time hustle. Okay, we're having a yard sale. We got to get rid of some stuff. We got to get the stuff out of here. And so sometimes they might forget, or they might think, who wants my old shoes? That's what they might be thinking, but it may not be advertised. And so that's why you need to go there and you need to say, hey, do you have XYZ? Do you happen to have XYZ? Do you maybe have ABC? You need to go up there and you need to ask them, say, do you sell shoes? That's kind of my thing. Or you can go up there and be like, hey, my brother needs this, or hey, my sister needs that. Do you have it? It doesn't matter what you say. You can say whatever you want to say, but you need to ask. Ask for what you want, and you'll more often get it than you won't. 5, tip for dominating yard and garage sales. Inspect your items, but you want to be careful to not offend. So one of the reasons why I love yard sales so much is because the nuances of personality types. When you go to yard sales, you're dealing with the general public, you're dealing with everyday people, and relationships, they really they really are key. So your goal in getting to a yard sale is to establish as much rapport with the people who are running that sale as you possibly can. And one of the ways that you can avoid creating a negative impression in somebody's mind is offending them. But you do need to keep in mind that what you're getting is something you need to inspect. This is a potential product, and even if you're not spending all that much and you're only spending $5 or $10, you want to make sure that you're looking at it. So you're gonna, if you got a pair of shoes there, or whatever item it is you're looking at, you're gonna pick it up, you're gonna look at it. But you don't want to get out a magnifying glass and you spend 25 minutes looking at it. You're at a yard sale, and so you need to keep that in mind. So inspect your items, but don't offend. 6, bundle up your lots and ask for a discount. And the more that you buy, the more sense that this makes. So the more stuff that you're getting at a yard sale, the more products that you're buying from the seller, the more the unspoken rule is that you're kind of maybe entitled, or that you should be able to ask for a discount. One thing you don't want to get is too entitled. But if you're going out there and they've got, 100 items at this yard sale and 2 bikes, and they've got 20 pairs of shoes in pretty good condition, and they've got some furniture and a couple koozies or whatever, and you're buying a significant portion of what they're selling, you should feel free to ask for a discount. Now, don't feel like you have to get it, and don't make them give it to them. Don't make them give it to you, because you'll get a little bit of resent. But you should be able to ask for a discount, and if you're able to take this, that, this, and that, and all these different things that you've bought, and be like, hey, I'm doing kind of a favor to you, and I'm buying so much stuff, and it might be hard for you to kind of sell all of this stuff individually over the course of the next 3 or 4 hours whenever this yard sale is ending. But I'm going to take it off your hands right now. What about maybe just like a bundled discount? If you offer to them like that, and you haven't offended them, and you've kind of given them some good rapport, and maybe talked about the weather or whatever their favorite sports team is, they're usually wearing a hat or something like that, they might give you that discount. So big tip, bundle up your lots of items and ask for a discount. Don't demand one. Okay, 7. Assume that if you don't buy it, it's going to be gone. Perfect example. I went to a yard sale probably 6 months ago when it was back in the fall, and I saw a bike that I really, really wanted. Yes, it wasn't a pair of shoes. I also sell bikes. It was a bike that I really wanted. I think I spent about $200 on it. And this bike happens to be worth $400. It was a red Trek 1000. And I remember like the back of my hand. I went up there and I didn't have enough money on me at the time. But I had about half of it. So I think I had like $100 left because, like I said, I go to a lot of yard sales, so I might go to boom, 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 boom. I might do like 10 or 15 yard sales, and sometimes I don't have enough money after, I don't get a chance to go back to the ATM. So I didn't have enough money on me, but what I did was I walked to the person, I said, hey, I'm very interested in this bike, and I created some rapport with them. I started talking to them for probably, 5 to 10 minutes, and the whole time I was like, had the bike right next to me. Nobody else was even buying it or interested. So I was talking with them, and I was letting them know how I was interested, but I didn't really want to pay their asking price, which was, I think it was $275. So I kind of talked them down to about $210 or so, and then I was like, you know what, I'm not interested, because I wanted them to come down further. And as I was, and I will get to this next tip in a minute, but as I was about to walk away, they ended up saying, okay, look, you can have it for $200, but you got to kind of get it now. And I said, you know what, that's fine. So I pulled out my wallet, and I said, oh crap, I don't have the whole $200. But here's what I did. I gave them the $100 that I did have, and I asked them, please do not sell it to anybody else. I'm going to run to the ATM right now, and I'm going to go get it. I'm going to go get that other $100, and they honored that, and I did. But when I came back, what they told me was, in that time that I had offered them $200 and paid them $100 of my money and left, I came back and somebody had already, and I'd only been gone about 10 minutes. In that time, somebody had already offered them $300, which gets to this tip right here. Assume that it will be gone if you don't buy it. The only two reasons that So one of the last tips I'll share with you guys today for dominating yard sales and garage sales is lowball, negotiate, and be willing to walk. There's a lot of different tools that you have at your disposal when you're going to yard sales, and you just have to know when to pull them out and when not to. Sometimes you don't want to pull out one of these tactics because there's no need to. If you go to a yard sale and there's a pair of Red Wing boots out there for $2, don't negotiate further. Buy the damn boots. But if you go to a garage sale and there are a pair of Red Wing boots for, $80, might be a good opportunity to lowball, because $80 is a price that's way too high for you to have a good profit margin. So you might say, okay, well, 80 is ridiculous. You won't say it like that. You might be, 80 is a little bit more than I'm willing to spend today. What about something like, 35 or 40? That's a good phrase to use with a seller. But in your head, you know that $80 is ridiculous. Or you want to, and that's honestly a lowball approach, because you're offering something way lower than what they had. That's what makes it a lowball offer. Negotiation is just basically you're giving them something that they want, they're giving you something that you want, and you're able to have that banter, that discussion to help you get it. So you have these tactics, but the biggest one really is you're being willing to walk. You make that offer for those Red Wing boots and you say, okay, 35 is the most I can spend. And they say, nope, 80. Okay, I appreciate your time. Thanks for letting me kind of check out your yard sale. I really think that 35 would be the best I can do, so I'm going to have to walk at this. I might be able to go to 30, but that's my absolute bottom line. You've shown your willingness to walk, and then you walk away. And sometimes they're like, well, I don't know. And they think about, can I actually sell these? And if they can't, or if they decide that they don't want to wait, they might call you and say, hey, Robert, you know what? I think you got a deal. Or they might be willing to negotiate and say, okay, well, maybe 80 is crazy. Maybe we'll go 60. And then that opens the door back up for you. So these are a couple tips that I wanted to share with you. It's a longer video, but I want to make sure I was providing you guys value. Thank you very much for watching Mr. Shoe Guy here on YouTube. I appreciate your time in watching this channel. I appreciate you guys commenting, and I ask you very kindly to subscribe to my channel if you're liking what you're seeing. I want to do more videos like this that are going to help you. If you haven't gotten a copy of my book yet, check out 50 Brands to Buy and Why, Flipping Men's Footwear for Profit. I definitely do chronicle a lot of the biggest brands out there that you might want to be on the lookout for, but I also touch on a lot of these type of reselling, business related concepts. So check out my book if you like this video. Thanks for watching Mr. Shoe Guy here on YouTube. Y'all take care and have a great day.